Nau mai hoki mai anō kia tapatahi I tēnei haora o te ata. Kia ora and welcome to Tapatahi. Thanks for joining us. Well, coming up on today's program, 2 new cases of COVID-19 were confirmed in the last 24 hours. While the numbers are encouraging, why are we still seeing new cases? The Director General of Health, Dr. Ashley Bloomfield, is on the program. Cabinet meets today to decide what will and won't be allowed at Alert Level 2, but we won't know the specifics until later this week. But after reports of Kiwis getting complacent, could there be delays with any move to Level 2? The Associate Minister of Health and Minister for Civil Defence and Hōnore Peeni Henare joins us. Reo champion Tamsyn Pue talks about her passion to support language revitalisation during these unprecedented times. The Warriors squad have begun preparations for the post-COVID-19 NRL season, and the hōtere whānau are here with today's whānau waiata. But first, here's Pōtaka Maipi with the news.
He whakahau nā te kāwanatanga o Aotearoa. Kua heke te motu ki te taumata ohiti tuatoru. Me tonu te noho ki tō takiwa ki tō kāhui hoki. Ka tūwhera ētahi Pākihi hoko me ētahi whare hoko kai I raro I ngā tikanga haumaru. Mo te roanga atu o ngā tai pito, tēnā. Hono atu kia covid19.govt.nz. He kupu tohu nei nā te kāwanatanga o Aotearoa. Ngā whakateitei huri no I te motu, tēnā koutou katoa. E whai ake nei ko ngā pito kōrero o te wā e pāna ki te mate korona. Me ōna pātanga ki te ao Māori I a tātou e noho here nei I raro iho I te taumata ohiti tuatoru ko Pōtaka Maipi ahau. Hei timatanga ake e rua noiho ngā tūroro mate karauna hou kua whakapuaki tia ake te minita te manatu Hauora, a karekau he mate ngā no rāua ko ngā tūroro hau. He hunga noho ki te kāinga o tētahi kaimahi o te hohipera whare kaumātua hoki o St. Margaret's I Tāmaki Makaurau. Nā reira, he kakenga ki ngā tauranga mō ngā tūroro kua whakatūturutia ki te kotahi mano, kotahi rau e toru te kau mā ono. He toko toru anō kei ro hohipera, karekau tētahi I te wāhanga whā omo. He toko toru atu anō kua whakamāui ake I te mate, he kakenga ki te kotahi mano e rua rau e ono te kau mā ono katoa, arā e waru te kau mā rima o rau. E waru o rau tonu ngā tūroro katoa, he Māori e noho tonu ana ki te kotahi rau e rua te kau mā ono. Hoai ko ngā tūroro Pasifika kua piki ake I te rānei ki te whitu te kau mā iwa. E whā mano e ono rau e toru te kau mā whā ngā whakamātautau e oti I te rāhoroi, e kakenga ki te kotahi rau e rima te kau mano e rua rau e rua te kau mā toru katoa I te rānei. Kei te wangawanga ngā prihimana I te nui o te hunga e whawhati ana I ngā tikanga noho here o te taumata ohiti tuatoru. Neke atu I te kotahi mano ngā huinga tangata, kua ripoatahi atu ngā prihimana e ono rau e waru te kau mā rima no tēnei mutunga wiki tonu. Hei matapaki ake I tēnei take, anei te kaikomihana prihimana tuarua, a Scott Fraser.
It would be a concern for all New Zealanders, and that's why we've seen a number of calls from concerned New Zealanders across the country where they have seen breaches or they have a perception that a breach has occurred. All New Zealanders have sacrificed a lot under Alert Level 4, and we've made some significant gains which have allowed us to move to Alert Level 3. So again, we would ask anyone who has any doubts, make sure that they familiarise themselves with the guidelines and restrictions. There's a very clear message. Now is not the time to be out socialising or hosting a party. And at Alert Level 3, there are still restrictions. We need to continue sticking to the rules. We need to be at home as much as possible, only undertake essential travel and keep it local.
Kei te tū tapatahi ngā pika katoa I roto I a ngā puhi, I roto I ngā ngau kino o te wā. Koia te kōrero a te heo te runanga āiwi a ngā puhi a mere mangu, mo a rātou mahi haumaru ake i te iwi i ngā pānga o te mate karauna.
North here, we have actually come together as all the iwi chairs from Tāmaki right up to Te Rerenga Wairua, and we're under the koroua of Te Kahua Taonui. And so our approach has been iwi-wide to our Northland DHB, everybody, and even our Pākehā who are in our communities, we have been looking after them as well.
Mere mangu. Kei te whakatere ake ngā kaupapa nui ki roto o Aotearoa e te rūnanga o te kāwanatanga. Hei aha, kia hipa i te ture whakahaere rawa e kia nei ko te RMA. Nā te minita mo te take taiao a David Parker i whakahau i ngā rangi whakatā, ko te whāinga hei whakapiki ake i te ohanga ki roto o Aotearoa i te wā i tau mai te mate korona. Ka whakauru te ture hou hei te marama o pipiri, ka tango i te mana whakatau mai te ringaringa o te maria me ngā kaunihira, a ka tukuna kētia ki te puari hou, no te koti taiao te hea mana hou. Ka ti ake koina ta te ao Māori e pupuru nei, mo te whānui ake tēnā toro atu ki te ao Māori News me ngā whārangi o ngā reo irirangi Māori. Ngā tauwhirotangi tanga o te wāhi ngaro ki aunga i a koutou katoa, kia mā ori ori te noho. He whakahau nā te kāwanatanga o Aotearoa, kua heke te motu ki te taumata ohiti tuatoru. Me tonu te noho ki tō takiwa ki tō kāhui hoki, ka tūwhera ētahi Pākihi hoko me ētahi whare hoko kai, i raro i ngā tikanga haumaru. Mo te roanga atu o ngā tai pito, tēnā, hono atu kia covid19.govt.nz. He kupu tohu e nei nā te kāwanatanga o Aotearoa.
There are 2 new cases of COVID-19 that have been linked to the St Margaret's Hospital and Rest Home cluster in Auckland. The Ministry of Health says that both cases are household contacts of an employee at the rest home. The total of confirmed and probable cases is 1,487. Just over 150,000 have now been tested. There are 8 people in hospital. The Director General of Health has reinforced the need for people to continue to act in line with the Level 3 expectations. Dr. Ashley Bloomfield joins me now. Tēnā koe and welcome to the program.
Tēnā koe e mōrena koutou.
The numbers are encouraging, Dr. Bloomfield, but why are we still seeing new cases after weeks of lockdown and quarantine?
Well, a couple of reasons for that. One is that we know this virus is very infectious, and also that we've seen here, as in other countries, quite a lot of transmission happening within family households. So we're seeing this long tail of cases coming through, and many of them are close contacts within the household or in the workplace. And so we're certainly not out of the woods yet. There are still these cases. The important thing is, and we're emphasising this each day, is that we know where these cases are coming from. And if we don't know immediately, we're putting a wide sort of ring fence around them and testing people just to make sure there's no ongoing transmission.
Why do we still have 16 significant clusters after all this time? Does that suggest that something has gone awry?
Well, actually, 3 of those clusters have had no further cases for what we call 2 incubation periods, 28 days. And most of them have had no new cases for quite some time now. So whilst we're still reporting them, there's only 1 or 2 where there is still some ongoing cases popping up, the most common ones being this St Margaret's one in Auckland and another of our rest home clusters. And it just shows also that even when our healthcare workers have got really good knowledge and use of PPE and good infection control, as I've said before, this is quite a tricky virus, and so we need to just be so vigilant.
The latest cases are from known clusters, as you point out. Are you confident that we're doing enough to manage the clusters that we know about?
I am confident, and we've learned as we've gone along a lot about this virus and about how it transmits. And one of our settings where we're really keen to make sure we're doing everything we can is in our aged residential care facilities. So we're working right now with our partners in the aged care sector to look at what we've learned over these last few weeks and see, is there anything else we need to do just to both prevent infection getting into those facilities, but also what to do if we do get an infection, just to make sure we're stopping the spread, not just to the residents, but to the staff and on to their families.
Let's move on from the clusters and the reported confirmed cases. 685 reports were filed in the first 24 hours of the weekend just gone about breaches of the Alert Level 3 restrictions. What is the risk of Level 3 being extended because of these breaches?
Well, we are certainly looking very hard at compliance with the Level 3 expectations. That's one of the things that will give us an assurance that there won't be any ongoing transmission. You'll recall when we went into Alert Level 4, our main aim was to break the chain of transmission. And we've done really well so far, but we can't afford to take our foot off the pedal now. We've got to just really squeeze out that extra certainty that we've not got community transmission out there. And if we do find community transmission over this next week, and if that's because people have relaxed and haven't really complied with the expectations in Alert Level 3, then that may well delay a decision. We all want to get down to Level 2 as soon as possible for a lot of reasons.
So does that mean that Cabinet won't be making a final decision today?
I think right when we went into Alert Level 3, the Cabinet and the Prime Minister indicated that they would be making that final decision on the 11th of May, so a week from now. I have to say, I'm sorry, our emergency system's being just tested here in the Ministry. It was a very short blast there. I'm sorry about that distraction there.
Not a problem, Dr. Bloomfield. That's the brilliance of live tally, right? So that means, well, let's talk about Cabinet looking through and receiving information today to make some sort of decision about whether we stay in Level 3 or move certainly to Level 2. Are you confident that you have been able to provide them with enough information to make that decision?
So what Cabinet will be looking at today is a cross-government piece of work on what Alert Level 2 will look like across all our sectors: health, education, transport, out in the community, issues like mass gatherings, sport, travel and so on. So we will be, that's what they will be considering today, because I know that the Prime Minister would like to lay out this week what Level 2 is going to look like for people. But the actual decision and the advice around that won't be taken. The decision next Monday, a week from today, so that advice will be being prepared over the coming week.
Thank you for clarifying that. And just to re-emphasise the point that you made earlier, if there are further breaches and if there is evidence of community transmission, then moving from Level 3 to Level 2 would seem highly unlikely.
Well, it's hard to know, but what it would do is it could delay it, and obviously none of us want that at the moment. And as I say, from the efforts that all Kiwis have put in over that Alert Level 3 and 4 and subsequently, we've achieved what we wanted to achieve and really got those case numbers down very low, and we know where they're coming from. But we do know this virus is not straightforward, and we want to keep those numbers very low. We can only look overseas, not very far, to see what happens if we let it get back out of control again.
Let's talk now about the flu vaccine. Last week you said that everyone that wants a flu jab can get one. Is that still the case?
That is the case, and one of the things that's been interesting is we've got more vaccine out in our health system than we've ever had. Over 1.2 million doses have been distributed, but so far only about 650,000 doses have been actually administered to people. So there is a lot of vaccine out there. We have focused rightly for the first month on vaccinating our older people and people with pre-existing conditions, because they are the ones who would be most likely to end up in hospital if they did get the flu. But now is the time for the wider population, not just turn up at your GP, make an appointment. We have got more vaccine arriving over this week and the following week from overseas, and people can and should get their vaccine. Book in with your GP or your pharmacist.
We've had several Māori health providers on this program who say they can't meet the need because they don't have enough flu jabs. What do you say to them? What's your advice to them?
Well, we've got a very good ordering system now, and people can order in up to 60 vaccines each time. If they need more than that, they can put in multiple orders. What we just wanted to be sure of was that we had the distribution right around the country and for all the groups that might need it. I think earlier on there were some issues, but I know that over the last 2 or 3 weeks there has been much better distribution. So I'm really confident that providers should be able to get the vaccine they need.
Talking about the Māori response, your lead on Māori Health, John Whanga, told us that the ministry's response could have been much better, and it's something that you're actively working on. Are you confident that you're on track when it comes to Māori?
Well, if we look at the testing rates and the infection rates amongst Māori over this last few weeks, what I'm really pleased to see is that our testing rates for Māori have been high. They have been in proportion with the population. I want to commend all those out there who did go and get tested. And we've seen our infection rates, only 8% of our total infections with COVID-19 are among Māori, but 16% of our tests. So I think that's really good. We also saw Māori providers across the health and social sectors doing some great work with iwi and with individual whānau and communities to really get the messages out there about how they needed to protect themselves, how they could protect themselves. And we've certainly had a lot of Māori input here in the ministry into our work and are looking to improve and strengthen that further. And I agree with John, we can always do better, and we've got, I think, much more input coming in across all our advisory streams now from Māori, so we'll keep doing that.
Dr. Elena Curtis was on the program on Friday. Of course, she is a public health expert. She said that she didn't feel that the ministry is listening to them, to Māori voices. Are you confident that adequate and appropriate time and opportunity has been given to Māori health experts to be involved in decision making?
Well, we certainly made every effort to do that, and I know Alana and many of her colleagues who I've worked with for many years in my time in both medicine and then in public health, and they're really good people, and I'm just pleased that they've got together and are providing the input that they are providing. We'll continue to engage really well with them and other groups, and both iwi groups and other community groups, to ensure we are getting good advice. And so always keen to look at ways we can do things better, and I'm pleased that they've made themselves available, and we'll keep getting their input.
Dr. Bloomfield, on a final note and on a personal note, how is your bubble?
Oh, my bubble's surviving very well. I've been very fortunate to have my whole whānau at home. My daughter, who just started a new job, and my son, who's studying at Canterbury University, they managed to get home before the alert level 4 lockdown. So we've had this treat of having all our kids at home, including our one who's still at school. And every now and then we have to go outside for a bike ride or a walk, just to, the cabin fever gets up high. But it's been a real pleasure to have them home, actually. And it's been wonderful too, when we are out and about, to see people actually enjoying each other's company in their whānau bubbles, enjoying some physical activity. And that's something we want to keep doing, and I'd encourage others to as well.
I'm surprised, Dr. Bloomfield, that you have any time for a bike ride or a walk, but we do really appreciate your time this morning for coming on the program. Thank you so much.
Kia ora.
Dr. Ashley Bloomfield there, the Director General of Health of the Ministry of Health. Well, joining us now is the Associate Minister of Health, Peeni Henare. Tēnā koe e te minita.
Tēnā koe, kia ora tātou.
I'm not sure if you heard the interview there with Dr. Bloomfield, but pretty stern words there around the risk of us staying at level 3 if people continue to be complacent. What's your view, what's your message to our viewers this morning, to our listeners this morning about that?
Pretty simple, really. Kia au. I know that when we moved to alert level 3, people saw these great liberties given back to them, but the reality is, and the words have always been consistent from both Dr. Bloomfield and the Prime Minister, is only go out if you need to, otherwise stay home. We've seen and heard all the cases on the news about people flouting the rules and haere tētahi ki te pāti, and that's really not the kind of approach we want, and we need to come back down to alert level 2 and get our country back up and running again.
Do you agree that there is a risk that we could be staying in level 3 if people continue to flout the rules?
Yes, and I think Dr. Bloomfield makes it quite clear that the longer we continue to flout these rules, of course, the greater the risk of community transmission of COVID-19. So, like for example, here in my bubble, it was tempting to go, and I had a few whānau who were keen to catch up on the weekend, but it's quite clear. Stay in your bubble, only go out if you need to. And unless you're an essential worker, the advice should be to stay home. And I'd urge all whānau out there to continue to hold on to these rules as Cabinet comes towards its decision on what alert level 2 might look like. We need to be able to show as a country that we're responsible and able to stick to these rules and make sure we can get our country back up on its feet.
I'm interested, as Associate Minister, to understand your view about the Ministry's response to Māori. The Ministry itself has said it could have done much better, and as we've just heard from Dr. Bloomfield, they're trying to improve, right, the way in which they respond to Māori. What's your view? Do you think the Ministry is on track now with its Māori response?
In short terms, no. I do think that there's lots more work to be done. When I got this portfolio and the Minister for Health, David Clark, has made it clear that equity is a big issue in the health sector. And this stems through all levels, not just at the service level where our people experience the health sector, but right through to decision making. And we've made it a big challenge to make sure that we find that equity. And to be completely honest, we aren't there. And I think Dr. Bloomfield has recognised that we do have a lot of people who contribute and we have a lot of work to do with Māori, but we are a long way from being on home base and making sure that partnership, at least as our people see it in Te Tiriti o Waitangi, is reached. But that's the challenge on me. And I do want to say, however, to Akana, that the likes of John Whanga and the team that he's engaged to advise us on COVID-19 have been extremely awesome and worked really hard to make sure that we're able to get a response that our people deserve. But are we there yet? In short, no.
What do you say to the likes of public health expert Dr. Elena Curtis, who told us on Friday that she doesn't believe the Ministry is listening to Māori health experts, which is rather mind-boggling when you think of it. So what advice do you give them around that, and will we see that change under your leadership?
Yes, I expect, and we've had this conversation with both John Whanga, Dr. Bloomfield and my colleagues, including the Prime Minister, that this needs to change and needs to change urgently. Not just because of a COVID-19 response, but as we look forward into what a post-COVID world might look like. I can say that from the beginning, before lockdown alert level 4, Dr. Jansen, Dr. Reid, and others have been engaged with myself and my colleagues, as well as officials at the Ministry of Health. So, you know, they have been there, but they haven't in another sense. So I accept the challenge from Dr. Curtis. I've seen her comments around things like tangihanga, amongst other things. And, you know, why wouldn't we go to those kinds of experts, whether it be for health or even for tikanga reasons? I think there's an opportunity there to bring a whole space of Māori expertise together, and that's the challenge upon me.
5 weeks ago, you announced $56 million to support Māori. $15 million was made available for whānau ora. And we've heard countless examples and stories about what whānau ora are doing in the community. What's happening with the rest of that money, the remaining $45 million? Do you know where that's going, and what reports are you receiving about the impact that's having in our communities?
Yeah, that's a great pātai, and you nailed it with whānau ora. Whānau ora, and the Prime Minister acknowledged this, was phenomenal, and their ability to mobilise so quickly to support so many. So a big thank you to them and their partners across the motu. With respect to the rest of the money, $15 million to whānau ora, $30 million to Māori health. A part of that was $10 million for a strong vaccine program for Māori, to which Dr. Bloomfield has already spoken about this morning. $13 million there, $13 million to Māori health providers to support, led by Tumu Whakarai, the Māori advisors to DHBs, to support much of the good work that's being done by Māori health providers. Those include mobile clinics and CBACs, testing stations to allow our service providers to reach more of our whānau, in particular in places like Te Tai Rāwhiti, taranaki and te tai tokerau. And $5 million of that goes into extra support for other areas of communications. For example, we know that Healthline was the #1 focus for telephone services. Well, you know, for many of our whānau, we're not going to ring Healthline. So we need to find other ways to engage. And so some of the money went towards how we might better engage with our whānau, social media content, working with iwi is another part of that. And also $10 million was being let out by Te Puni Kōkiri to assist communities during this time. And I'm proud to say that some of the good work that we've seen from communities, I hope that all that good mahi doesn't fall by the wayside simply because we managed to eliminate COVID-19, and we can continue to keep some of those good practices.
Kei te tuakana, kei te minita e mihi atu ana ki a koe, mo tō whakawātei i a koe anō kia mātou. O tira ki te motu i tēnei ata. Tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe hoa, tēnā tātou.
The Associate Minister of Health there, Peeni Henare. Well, we'd love to know your thoughts on today's program. Please post your feedback on our Facebook page or send us an email, tapatahi@māoritelevision.com. Well, coming up on the program, Parawa Rewana is being baked in Tauranga Moana to support kaumātua living alone during lockdown. And Te Reo Champion shares her passion for language revitalisation. Hoki mai anō kia Tapatahi. Kaumātua and Pakeke in Tauranga Moana are about to receive a rewana bread parcel as part of an initiative that supports older people living alone during lockdown. Kere Marait has more.
Ko te raurau nui o te aroha ki te hunga kaumātua.
Kei roto i ngā uara o te iwi kia manaki tiaki a mātou nei tāonga ngā kaumātua.
Toko waru rātou ngā uri o Ngāti Rangi Nui e poke ana o tira e tunu ana I tōna ruarau rewena neke atu I ngā haora pā te kaumāwaru.
I karangatu au kia kukaihana ki te tunua mai rewana mō ngā kaumātua. Ka māhua a mātou nei kaumātua ngā kai ki runga I te marae. Moke rātou mō ngā kai o te marae.
Ko tēra te prawa reka rawa atu mō mātou kaumātua.
Te prawa tino teitei wetahi atu poto rawa te prawa.
Ko te nihoera nei ko Charlie Rahiri tētahi o ngā kai kōkiri e tīmata ki te whāngai I te hua rewena I te wenerei.
Ko te ingoa takurua ko Nan, ngā taku kuia tēnei mahi I tupua mai ki a hau. Rua te kaukau ki muri.
Ko te rewana whisperer ko Charlie tērā.
I tīmata te tunu I tōna kāinga, nā waika hunuku ki ngā umu kai tā o tōna marae o Wairoa. Te wāhi whakatongia e te kano o te manakitanga e tōna kuia.
Ko te ingoa o tērā umu ko Edith, tērā te ingoa o taku kuia. Ko tēnei ko Puti, ko nā raua e nei mahi o te kauta I para mō mātou te whai.
He whakaaro nui nō rātou ki ngā kuia me ngā koroua, ko ono wiki e noho taratahi ana, nā runga I te taru tawhiti nei arā ko te mate korona.
Koira te kaupapa o te rewana ki roto I te paipera te leivna. Aha koa kei roto I ētahi kraipi ture he mea kino tēnei, pa kia mata o te Māori he mea pai tēnei.
Ko tahi rau whā te kaukilogramu puehu prawa, te kaukilogramu huka me te wai, koira ngā kai o roto I wenei rewena, engari ko te kura huna, ko te aroha.
He ngā kaupuna, he ngā kau aroha, te whakaro manakitanga. Kei roto I o ringa te hua o era taonga I tuku iho mai a mātou nei tūpuna.
Ko ngā oranga nui, tuatai, wow, te whakapakere tīnana, ko whakapaukaha ke taku wera I te huri haere te niri te prawa.
I te mutunga iho e ruarau toru te kaumārima katoa ngā prawa I tunua, hei tuaritanga ki o rātou Pākeke a Pōpō. Kere Marait, te ao Māori.
Well, with me now is Charlie Rahiri. Kei te tuakana, te tikanga, kei ko nā koe, ai, ngā mihi ki a koe, me tēnei whakaaro rangatira.
Ai, tēnā koe o tira, tēnā koe tai. I puku mahi katoa mātou I te wikere, no reira kua tūtuki ngā wawata, te whainga. Yeah.
Well, thank you for getting up this morning. As you said, you've been pretty busy over the weekend. A 20-year-old recipe, I think, if I heard it right in that story. And it's to help remind or to help give back to our Pakeke and kaumātua, the kai that they've been missing during lockdown, kai that they would normally get at the marae, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I actually learned it about 20 years ago from my nan. But this bike is it was gifted to me. So it's a bit of a superbug, so it just comes back to life very fast. For our kaumātua, our pakeke, and just mindful that they're not having the interaction that they would usually have with whānau, with the marae. Kaumātua programs are not on, so they've been at the forefront of our minds all through this sort of.
Well, tēnā koe I tēnei mahi nui, I tēnei mahi rangatira āhau. What because I guess, the rewana has been delivered and been shared with our pakeke and kaumātua. What sort of response or feedback have you received?
Oh, it hasn't been delivered yet. It's this morning, so it's been delivered with some fresh fish, which has come compliments of our iwi. But the response, so it's been on Facebook. We put it out there, and the response from whānau has been huge. We've actually been making rewana since the start of COVID for the local kaumātua around where I live, Huria, and my other marae Wairo. And so this is just a wider reach out to our iwi, I guess, to give them like kai that they really like.
What do you get out of this in terms of your feeling, the sense of pride, I suggest, that you get out of doing such an amazing feat?
It's just been I tipu aki au I raru I ngā panekoti o ngā kuikui toto oku kaumātua I te kāinga. And I guess it's payback in a way, to give back to everything that they do for us, that our kaumātua do for us. But on top of that, I taught a couple of cousins how to make rewana a couple of weeks ago, and they didn't know that this was going to come up, so it was sort of like a baptism of fire, and we had 8 people, 7 in their homes, and me at the marae with a couple of others making the rewana, contributing to the 200 rewana goal, but we did 235, so so like I said, it's a bit of a baptism of fire for the cousins, but they all stepped up, and they all completed it. But there were 3 sort of goals. 1 is to deliver kai for our kaumātua, 2 is to teach the art of rewana, and 3 is to develop more rewana makers for our marae across Tūranga.
Well, all the best today with your delivery, and I'm sure that there is some happy and pleased pakeke kaumātua waiting for the delivery of their parawa and ika this morning. Waenganui, kei te tuakana tēnā rawa atu koe.
Tēnā koe.
Charlie Rahiri there from Tauranga Moana talking about the big bake that they've done over the weekend. Well, Pōtaka Maipi is back with the news headlines.
Tēnā koe Shane o te rā tēnā koutou katoa. Ko te kaiwhakahaere hauora a tākuta Ashley Bloomfield I whai wāhi ki te whakahoki I ngā wero no ngā kaimahi hauora Māori.
We certainly made every effort to do that, and I know Alana and many of her colleagues who I've worked with for many years in my time in both medicine and then in public health, and they're really good people, and I'm just pleased that they've got together and are providing the input that they are providing. We'll continue to engage really well with them and other groups, and both iwi groups and other community groups to ensure we are getting good advice, and so always keen to look at ways we can do things better, and I'm pleased that they've made themselves available, and we'll keep getting their input.
Ko Peeni Henare te minita tuarua o te manatu hauora e tohu ana ki te hunga e hiahiana ki te whawhati tonu I ngā ture o te ohiti tuatoru.
Your bubble, only go out if you need to, and unless you're an essential worker, the advice should be to stay home, and I'd urge all whānau out there to continue to hold on to these rules as Cabinet comes towards its decision on what Alert Level 2 might look like. We need to be able to show as a country that we're responsible and able to stick to these rules and make sure we can get our country back up on its feet.
Kua timata te kapa o ngā tamatoa I tō rātau noho here ki roto o Tamworth I Ahitereiria I te rangi nei. Hei te 28 o tēnei marama ka timata anō te whakataetai NRL. Ka tiake mo tēnei wā tonu, ka hoki anō ki a koe Shane me te hōtaka o Tapatahi.
Early childhood education centres have been allowed to reopen during level 3, but many kohanga reo have remained closed because of the risk to pakeke and mokopuna. Tamsyn Pue is a radio announcer on Te Korimako Taranaki, and during lockdown has shared her passion for te reo Māori with the mokopuna and whānau of te kohanga reo o ngā pekanga I Waitara. No reira, Tamsyn, tēnā rau atu koe e hono mai nei kia tapatahi I tēnei ata. Ka nui rā te mihi ki a koe, nau mai, whakatau mai.
Tēnā koe, Shane.
You've been pretty busy during lockdown, working on the radio and with kohanga reo. Tell us about what you've been up to.
Well, with regards to the radio, yeah, that's been pretty exciting. So we've got all of our broadcasters living around different parts of Taranaki. So that's really cool because we can broadcast like locally within our own communities, which has been awesome and really special in terms of making sure that we've got local content. I'm based in Waitara, I'm an announcer in Hauora and a couple in Ngāmotu. So we're all around the maunga. But within that, the reason why the Kohanga Reo live sessions actually started is because when we heard that, you know, the motu heard about the passing of Koro te Huirangi, I thought, well, I don't know how I'm going to, you know, obviously like everybody else, how are we going to deal with this grief? And then I remember him telling me, you know, when you have an opportunity to share the reo, then do whatever you need to do to be able to do that. So we had some conversations with some of the whānau about how we're going to infuse the reo into our homes. And because I'd already been working on this reo strategy for my wider iwi tribe, I thought, well, maybe I could do it within the koanga. And so I don't work at the koanga full time. I just mainly focus on policies and the wāriki implementation, etc. But I decided that maybe I could do some live streams, etc. for our whānau and then hopefully infuse the reo into the homes. I mean, there's 25 kids on the particular role that I'm working with. So that's 25 more households that are going to have reo Māori within their homes locally, which is, you know, and that's something that kōrero would be proud of and something that those of us like yourself, Shane, that are Miki trying to inspire te reo and to make sure that reo is infused into our homes could be proud of. So hence why we're doing these live 1 hour sessions in te reo Māori, but it's actually bilingual. Kei te kōrero ngā reo e rua I e te hiwa. Ka kōrero Māori a hau ki ngā mokopuna, engari ko te wāhanga ki ngā mātua, because we have a little question, answer, sort of Q&A little session at the end, whereby they can ask me kupu, you know, how do I say, you know, make your beds or clean the house and things like that, you know, in reo Māori. Yeah.
Can I just say thank you for sharing that beautiful story about the kaumātua Huirangi and his advice, his words of wisdom, right? And he had so much wisdom to share with all of us, but for taking the opportunity during COVID-19 to inspire others. So ka nui te mihi ki a koe mō ēnā mahi rangatira āhau. Part of your role is to impart the reo to our tamariki and mokopuna, but I'm interested to understand what you may have learnt over the past few weeks in doing this mahi.
Honestly, this has been extremely rewarding to be able to see the parents and in their special place, like that's their home, that's their sanctuary, and to see their faces and the joy that they have in learning kupu Māori and actually you know, appreciating whatever I have to share. I've learned that people are actually very receptive when you care about them. So I suppose one of the most important things about the live streams, the koanga ones that I'm running is that it's customized to the families. And I feel I've learned that when you actually deeply, truly care about people, they actually feel so empowered and they feel so special because it's just for them. I mean, I don't actually get paid to do this. I actually just do it because I care. Like you and all of our best friends in the Wānanga Reo that you were running last year that I was so grateful to be a part of. You know, for those of us that are able to inspire the reo, share the reo more, that is living Koro's legacy. That's what he was about. Koro te Huirangi cared about everybody and anyone who cares about our reo. So for me, it's been a way of dealing with my grief. It's been a way that I can actually heal in terms of his great loss. But, you know, he will never die. He will live on in things like this. You know, he lives on in people that will continue his legacy, which is to continue to share and to feed the reo into our homes and into our communities.
What do you think we can take from the work that you're doing, the amazing work, inspiring work that you're doing, and how can we take those key learnings and use that to further support language revitalisation?
Kia ora, that is exactly what it is. It's language revitalisation. But I feel that honestly, we can all save our reo by learning one new kupu hau each day, implementing it. I mean, it's one thing to know a word and to keep it in your mind and in your heart, but it's about actually saying the word and then sharing it with another person. And I truly believe in that. If you keep on sharing these new words, new concepts, if people want to do this, cool. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, you know, getting in front of a camera and speaking reo and dancing and singing, because those are just the fun things that I do for the kids. And, you know, you kind of actually have to be on their level with the tamariki. You elevate them to a level where they feel empowered. So hopefully, well, I'm hoping that lots more kohanga. I've actually received a fair few messages saying that they want to do it as well. And so they're wanting to jump in mine to have a look to see what I'm doing, maybe get some ideas. And it is about sharing. So I'm hoping that more people get on board doing this and then just filter out to those you have direct influence over. I mean, when you know, that's saving the reo in terms of revitalisation. 25 kids, 25 households, 50 parents, and then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And, you know, we just start small, e tēnei, e hara ro mai, hangai mai, te rā kotahi, and then we'll just take it from there.
Kei te tuahine Tamsyn, ka nui rā te mihi ki a koe. Koe he hiko nei taku ngākau, i e nei mahi rangatira āu, i e nei mahi nui āu, no reira ka nui te mihi ki a koe.
Tēnā koe, Shane.
Well, the Warriors have started their 14-day quarantine after touching down in Tamworth last night. The team was granted an exemption to travel to Australia to continue the NRL season before moving to Central Coast, where they will be based. However, 2 members of the squad are still in the country. Nate Roach was ordered to stay home after he was found to be unwell, and David Futsitua has been allowed to delay his departure on compassionate grounds. Well, joining me now is league legend Howie Tamati. Tēnā koe kei taku tuakana.
Tēnā koe e ho, e whairau atu te kite I tēnei ata.
Ia koe, ia tātou hoki. How excited are you that the NRL season is back in play?
I guess it's like all the rugby league fans in New Zealand, you know, we're sort of desperate to see the boys playing again. So it was good to see them hop on the plane and go over there. I'm not too sure just where everything is sitting right now. There's a lot of talk going on about just how much they're going to get paid and all that sort of thing. So, but at least they're over there. And I'm sure with the work that the NRL and the Land East are doing, we'll get them on the field again.
How do you think the players themselves will be feeling?
Well, I think they're, you know, they play rugby league for a living. They just want to play, and so they're having the opportunity just to do what they do really, really well. For them would be uplifting. And I think, you know, there's a lot of eyes over them at the moment. They're, you know, they're under a lot of pressure, I suppose, in that sort of sense. They're very, very important to the NRL. And for them, I think they're sacrificing probably the most of any of the teams over there, uplifting themselves and, you know, the disruption to their families, their wives and their children. It may well not work out, but I'm sure that they're committed. They just want to play rugby league, mate. They just want to bash somebody up.
The season is set to restart at the end of this month, and the updated schedule is yet to be released. The season was cut short after 2 rounds. Is it too early to make predictions?
I I think so. I don't think we didn't start that well. So, you know, maybe it was a chance to actually reset and, you know, just learn from what they first went into. They've got quite a young squad, really. So I think it was a good opportunity maybe just to take a step back and think about their commitment and the way that they're going to play. It was a tough opening for the year, but you know, I just think that you know, knowing how strong that competition is, they're ready for it. They're up for it as soon as they can get together and start training, mate.
Well, hopefully they've made good use of the lockdown period, right, and the weeks that they had to reset, as you put it. How do you think, and you mentioned this earlier, how do you think the players will go without their whānau for potentially the duration of the season? And while there is some kōrero that whānau may be able to join them later this month or next month, that's still uncertain. So how do you think that's going to impact the team?
Well, I guess you got to go back to, so like at the international level, we go away for 2 or 3 months, and it's hard on the families, yes, but you know, the wives know they married a rugby league player. They've got family, so I think it's something that they'll adapt to. But hopefully they'll be able to get the families over there, and you know, as the virus hopefully calms down even more, they can bring them all together. But it is a difficult time for the wives and family, and you know, your heart goes out to them, wanting to be by their men. As long as they know that they're well set up and they're going to get rewarded as they should do as professional rugby league players.
We're not sure how the competition is going to be staged, but before lockdown, we saw empty stadiums, and unless you've actually experience that feeling, you don't really know what it's like, right? Playing in an empty stadium. What do you think about that, and what sort of impact do you think that's going to have on the team?
Well, there's nothing better than having a crowd to cheer you on and you know, give you I suppose enthusiasm and uplift you. You know, you're out there, you're playing for your team, but also you're playing for the fans who are there to support you. So, you know, and those support, the support that the fans can give them, can give them the energy that they need to actually win the games and go to 80 minutes. So, you know, 80 minutes of rugby league and NRL is a huge effort by anybody. So, to go into empty stadiums would be quite eerie, actually, I think.
As an athlete, how are you feeling about the future of league post-COVID-19? We know, right, COVID-19 has turned everything upside down. How are you feeling about the future of league?
Well, I mean, you can take a negative view around it. You know, I mean, it's a huge business with the NRL, and there's a lot of money involved and all that sort of thing. But, you know, I guess a lot of my view is turned back to the game at the grassroots level and how our clubs survive at the local level. I think we're hugely passionate in with our junior grades, with all our kids and the parents that go along. So you know, that's probably one of the really strong points of rugby league in New Zealand for our game is the junior development programs. It's probably the professional pathway that take a lot away from our senior competitions that are affecting our senior competitions.
Howie Tamati, always a pleasure. Nice talking to you this morning. Tēnā koe.
Yeah, very good. Thanks. All the best to you.
Well, from the Warriors whānau to the Hōtere whānau in Waikato. Waimahi, Māgi and Māhutonga join us now. Tēnā koutou.
Kia ora whānau.
Tuatahi ake, me mihira ki tō koutou koroua, kia Bob Koroheke, kua riro nei, tai atu rā ki a koutou e noho pauwaru nei tēnei wā.
Tēnā koutou. Ai, he wā tino rereki tēnei kia mātou, te tīmatanga I hinga taku koroua, I mua, on the afternoon of the lockdown, before lockdown, my Papa passed and gagging, we called him. So we were one of the fortunate whānau who were still able to gather, albeit in our little bubbles, at home and be able to purupuru him in a way that is still really different. Never in our lives did we ever think that we would be doing it that way, especially for him. He's been, he's our rangatira in our whānau. And we were at home, but under the circumstances and because of the nature of his passing, he's been unwell for a while. We didn't have a tangi, and we wanted to make sure that we cremated him, which was really, really new. So, you know, tangi ana te ngākau mō ngā whānau e noho, all across the land, people are feeling the loss of their loved ones. So we were able to do that, at least in our bubbles, but together, and that was a really lucky thing for us.
Again, our sincere condolences and sympathy to you and the whānau, and thank you for sharing your experience. What has lockdown been like for you and the whānau, apart from the pretty sad start? Fast forward 5-6 weeks, how are you faring?
Well, I think that because we had such a jolt into lockdown, it really made us realise the space that we were walking into was very new, a time of innovation, which was nothing new for our tupuna, but looking at what really do we need to be, what is it that's important for us? And I think everyone's feeling that, Shane? And for me, it was being able to hold a space on my own to tangi and to do it with my boy, Mahutunga, and my partner, Margie, just sitting over here. Anyway, so it was to really remember what is important for us as a whānau, as a unit. We spend a lot of our time out and about in the community and with our whānau and doing work all around the country. So to be able to have that time to really stop, think, and reset was a wonderful thing. It's challenging.
Can you tell us? Sorry to jump in, but I'm being told that we're running out of time. Can you tell us about the song that your dad, David, has prepared for us today?
Oh, okay. So Dad loves to sing, and that's another thing that got us through is waiata, eh? Whether it was from online, this waiata is Taiaroha by Kiritira Tangata, my uncle. The song was, the tune is by Aroha Orupe and Taiapua Wātene. And the kupu it starts from, Aroha starts from way down below, and then it pupuaka ana ki runga ki te whenua, and touching everything that it comes into contact with and turning it into love. And I think if it wasn't for that, we would never be able to have gotten through this lockdown.
Ka nui rā te aroha me te mihi ki a koutou katoa I tēnei ata. Mō koutou I whakawātea I a koutou anō. Hoi anō e mihi ana ki a koutou. Ki a tahuri ake tātou I nāianei ki tēnei waiata a tō pāpā, a David Hōtere. David Hōtere. Well, thank you to our guests and thank you for joining us this morning. Koe nā a tapatahi mo tēnei rā kia piki te ora, te kaha, me te māramatanga kia koutou katoa, hei kona mo tēnei wā.